Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here, and today we're going to be deploying some canoes and gathering some sweet potatoes in Karekare. This is a tile laying game in which the players are going to be playing one of their two tiles to the table and scoring and gathering different things based on not just the tile they played, but what that tile is adjacent to. And so you'll be gathering timber, gathering sweet potatoes, deploying canoes, deploying huts, switching out your canoe with an opponent's canoe, all sorts of little things like that, and then scoring 3 times in the game for huts and canoes out there, and then at the very end of the game for achieving certain goals, as well as the timber and sweet potatoes you have hoarded. So let's go ahead and take a look at the board here, see what the game looks like, give you a quick explanation, and we'll come back and I'll tell you what I think. So what we're seeing here is the end of a 2-player game. This was just finished, and the scores added up. So we ended up on 60 to 76. I think this might have moved. I think it was at 78. Anyway, so that's what the game will look like at the end for 2 players. There will be more tiles here for more than 2 players. And the players are attempting to grow the land here, put out their huts, put out their canoes, put out these field markers with some sweet potatoes, and basically score the most victory points. You're playing over 3 ages. Each age is denoted by a stack of tiles, these tiles here, and how many depends on the number of players. So with 2 here, there were 8 in each of the 3 stacks. Once they've run out, then you score. And during the first era, the second era, and the third, you're going to get 4 points for every canoe of yours that's out, and 3 points for every hut that's out. And then during the final era, so the end of the game, you're also going to get 1 point for every 4 timber. This is the timber in the game. And you're going to get 1 point for every 2 sweet potatoes, which are these pieces right here. All right, not very aesthetically pleasing, I have to say, those sweet potatoes, but that's what they are. So there we go. And then you're also going to get 4 points if you put out at least 4 of your huts, and 4 points if you put out at least 4 of your, or 3 rather, of your field markers here. So how does the game play? That's what you're scoring. How does it work? Well, you're going to have a hand of 2 tiles. There will be 2 face up to replenish from that stack of 8 or 12 or 16, like I said, that you set up at the beginning. So from your 2 tiles, I'll just grab 2 random ones here. I'll make sure they're different. There we go. So from your 2 tiles in hand, you are going to play one next to at least one other tile. And then you are going to do something based on the one you played and what it's next to, as denoted right here. So if I play a mountain next to, I'll just actually blow this up and put it on the screen, okay? If you play a mountain next to another one, you're going to get 2 timber. A mountain next to a sweet potato field, you're going to get 1 timber. If you play a mountain next to water that has a canoe that is your opponent's canoe, you may pay 1 timber and replace theirs with yours. That's an 8-point swing, by the way, at least an 8-point swing. And then if you play a mountain next to a hill that has a hut on it, you're going to get 2 points if it's someone else's hut, 3 points if it's your own hut. And that's true for almost all the tile combinations played next to a hill that has a hut. Each place can only have 1 hut at each hill. Each of the water tiles can only have 1 canoe, by the way. So the potatoes, sweet potato field next to a mountain, or the forest rather, not a mountain, that's a forest. Sweet potato field next to a forest, 2 sweet potatoes. Sweet potato field next to another one, you are going to pay a sweet potato and then put out one of your field markers in there and put out on the field as many sweet potatoes as there are players. So in a game with 3 players, for example, I put out, 3 sweet potatoes. If you play a sweet potato field next to the water, you may pay 1 sweet potato, and if your boat is there, you would pay 1 sweet potato, remove the boat, get 5 victory points right away. And then lastly, again, next to a hut, 2 points if it's not yours, 3 if it is yours. Water, when you put water next to the forest, you can just deploy a canoe right into it. If you play the water next to a field, like this one here, so when I do this, I am going to, if it's my own marker, I get all the sweet potatoes. If it's someone else's, I get 1 sweet potato, okay? When you play water next to water, you can pay 1 timber and put a boat on either one of the 2 water fields. So if I play this over here, I'm going to get This is not my color, let's say. I'm going to get 2 points for that. And then if I pay 1 timber, I can put out a boat on the new one, or as normally, or over here as well. Okay? And then, again, the huts give you points. And then lastly, if you play out one of these where the huts go, the hills, it's basically, they're all the combinations are different ways to put out one of the huts on the hill. So if I play here, I have a few different options. So next to the forest, I get to pay 4 timber from my supply and put out a hut on there. If I play next to a potato field, like here, I could pay 2 potatoes and put out a hut. If I play next to water, I could discard one of the boats from my supply out of the game. These are limited. And I put a hut. Or if I play next to another hut space, another hill, I can give up 1 hut from my supply and put out another one there. So those are all the combinations. And again, you do it depending on everything you are next to. So you don't have to do them, but you can do it based on everything that's around you. And then once I've done one of those things, there will be 2 face-up choices. I can take one of those into my hand, or I can just draw from the top of the deck if I don't like my 2 choices for replenishment. We keep going until, and then once I take one of these, we show a new one. We keep going until that's all gone. We score. The player who is ahead over here on the track. By the way, this track, I got to show you this. Yeah, baby, look at that. Whoo, one of the best tracks I've ever seen. Whoever's ahead on the track is going to be the star player for the next round. And that is it. You score all that up at the end of the game, and whoever has the highest score is the winner. So let's go back up top, and I will tell you what I think about it. I think you might have an idea already. Okay, there it is. That is Karekare. This game is one that looked interesting to me, and I like Devir. This pains me a little bit, to be honest. Devir is a good company. I like a lot of the stuff they do. I think some of their games are very clever. They're very interesting. They tend to be good at putting a big game in a small box. This is not one of those games. This one I am deeply underwhelmed by. I think some of the choices that they made in this game are quite flawed. Not sure what happened here. This is not one I'll be recommending, but I'll go through the motion here and tell you what I think of it. The biggest positive I have for this game is the ease of play, and that's not even getting a positive. It's just getting a middling grade for me, and that is because, yes, it's relatively easy to play. I do wish the player aids were better. They could be larger. They could be clearer. This is what we get. The symbology on it isn't great, but it's okay. So there you go, the ease of play. Everything else I disliked in this game. The thematic ties. The game is abstract, but it's not just abstract. That's fine. It's bad abstract. It's like random abstract, and it is. It has a distinct lack of engagement in the theme. The aesthetics. They're okay mostly. I like the wooden bits. I think the tiles look okay, but I'm mostly giving this a negative for that score track. This is atrocious. Whoever thought this was good to go is a monster and needs to be kept away from any computer with capabilities of graphic design. No. Bad graphic designer. Replayability. This game's called Karekare. Replayability, same. It's the same thing every time. No. Game length. It somehow feels too short with 2 players, too samey with 4 players, so I guess 3 is the way to go. But yeah, can't quite nail being good at any one thing particularly, and I think the game length still shows issues. And then lastly, tactics and strategy and luck. Oh my goodness, luck. It's way too lucky. It's too swingy. It's too bland. Nothing in the game is engaging. A lot of these abilities on the tile made several people kind of raise an eyebrow like, so for 1 timber, I get to take away your canoe, which is worth 4 points to you and 4 points to me. So for a 1/4 of a point, it's an 8-point swing. Okay. I get that they're the more volatile of the two things between the canoes and the huts, but that's a problem. It's also, I don't have necessarily control over what tiles I get, especially with more players where you can't plan ahead. There's 2 tiles face up. I don't even look at what's there until it's my turn again. And so you might draw fewer hut tiles than I do. You simply might. There might be fewer available to you. I will put out more huts. Same might be true for the canoes. And so on and so on and so on. I think you get where I'm going with this. I really was ready to like this game, I have to tell you. But overall, this game is, I find it deeply flawed, unfinished, unappealing. It is, it's a little bit of a mess. I don't think I want to play this ever again. So my bottom line here is this is going to get a 3 out of 10 from me. This is one you can safely skip. There are tons of better abstract-only games with strategy, with things to think about and planning ahead. There's no planning ahead here. And then there are a lot of tile-laying games that are way more thematic, captivating, engaging than this. Even lucky ones, if that's what you want. So, yeah, this isn't going to appeal to a whole lot of people, I feel. And there you go. 3 out of 10 from me for this one. There's the lid. That's the bottom. Karekare. This is a pass, folks. I'm Zee Garcia. Thanks for checking this out with me. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one.